Fred Film Radio. This is Maria Bonsanti from the 81st Venice International Film Festival. I'm here with the director, Göran Hugo Olsson, and the producer, Tobias Janson, with the film Israel-Palestine on Swedish TV in 1958-1989, presented out of competition. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. So, Göran, with your film, The Black Power Mixtape, we could say it has become a sort of a classic. Now you're back with your new feature doc, which presents once again an impressive amount of material, an impressive work of montage, and I would say this time even a much more difficult choice. First of all, I'd like to know how did you decide to work on such material, and how did you get to know about this material?
No, we were making another film 5 years ago, maybe, and then we had access to the Swedish Broadcast Corporation's archive, and then we saw some images here and there from the history within television in Sweden, and they made up a narrative, some kind of story in those images from different times, and that was the idea to tell this story and tell it in a big way, like a chronic, because this is one of the biggest stories in our lifetime, and and if you try to take on to tell that story, you have to be very specific or very broad. So we took a very broad perspective.
Yeah. In that sense, I was wondering, Tobias, how was it difficult on the production side, considering the amount of material you have to deal? But
yeah, there were many issues with a project like this that has so many hundreds of hours of footage, of course, and it's not something that you can do. You have to put in working hours by professional people to go through and value the material. So it was a problem actually to get funders interested in the beginning. It was not this topic was not very discussed 5 years back, and there were other conflicts flashing through the news media. So it took some time before we could convince funders to help us get started.
But then it started, and also it's inevitable to ask you if you were still editing last autumn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we were editing up until this spring. So that's why we're so happy to be in Venice with the film, because it's perfect. And we did mix the sound just 1 week ago. It was very hectic, but for us it was so important to get the film out to the audience. In as fast as possible after the events of last 7th of October.
And I was wondering if, at the end of the movie, we see Yasser Arafat and Yitzhak Rabin shaking hands following the Oslo Agreement, and the word "No More Blood and Tears." Is this ending? This ending was there before October, or was something that somehow you were influenced?
No, I don't think that ending was in October. That's a very smart question, but I think that we didn't have an ending, so there was no other ending. We haven't changed anything to the film after the events, and that's the scary part of this, because we have seen those images now for 4 years, and then this happened. And to us, it's very much the same thing, but on a different level. The level of violence, the level of bombing now, and the ruthlessness is shocking. And I'm really depressed, and I don't see any positive sign at all.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the sense of your film is that we understand how archives can have a life and tell us much more than reality or contemporary cinema when it's in the hand of such a filmmaker as you. I'd like to continue discussing with you longer, but so unfortunately we have to wrap up. I thank you very much for being with us. And thank you. And this is Maria Bonsanti from Fred, the Festival Insider. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.